Okay, hanging out in Hamilton today. Got a southbound coming here, 286. Heading through Glendale. He's going straight on down PSX. Empty auto rack. Like gonna be one locomotive and 7 cars. Maybe not. There's an articulated car, so that throws the axle count off. Unless there's another one in here somewhere. Sure looks different without that gray building sitting there behind the train. It burned down. I understand Hamilton's gonna, rumor I heard was they're gonna take all that down. Smokestack, an old, I guess it's a water tower. It's all gonna come down at some point. A lot of people thought maybe the city burned it down because they owned it. It's like, why would the city burn it down? They just gotta clean it up. They were trying to sell it. They were in negotiations with somebody that was going to turn it into apartments, and then COVID hit and put the kibosh on all of that, and I guess it never really got started again. Still empty. Alright, good way to start today. Stick around for a while and see what else happens. I'm up here with Joey Boats and Mrs. Joey Boats, so we'll see what happens. Alright, here we go. We got us a northbound coming now. be a grain train. Another gray hood. I think it's going to be a mixed manifest. Oh yeah. Glad they got the work zone done up through here. At least these trains are moving quicker through here now. A big load of scrap here. This is Matt Reinhardt. Likes that stuff. A new bulkhead flat built July 24, a little over a month old. Unusual looking cars. I'd like to know what those are used bit of everything on this train. couple of old boxcars. Stabilize. Okay, we got 2 in. Let's hope it keeps going. I'm gonna stay here a couple hours, hope to get a bunch more, so hang around. Okay, here we go. Got us a southbound. Maybe a northbound coming too. I don't know if we heard an echo or we actually heard another train. I don't know if we're going to get a meet or not. We'll find out here in just a second. I swear we heard a horn down there. Good noise. Loaded scrap metal. We got another yard emptying train here. We got a long train here. Alright, here's something you never see. We got one coming north on the Newcastle district, coming up the back door into Hamilton here. Kind of wonder. I believe this is going to be 60C. This is the gondola car, or gondola train. I think that's only the second time I've seen a train come north up to Newcastle here. They normally go south. They sent him up the back door for a reason, but that's what we call it, the back door. Yeah, I got this train all the way down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, coming into the Debutch yard about 3-4 weeks ago when Deltooth and I were down there. It's empty going north and loaded going south. Right now it's going north. A lot of new cars here. It was built in November of 23, not quite a year old. This train will go back south with steel slabs in it. There's a guy going the wrong way down a one-way street. Cars aren't even a year old. I'd like to know how many gondolas they got on this train. Man, this thing is long. Somebody's counting these because, man, there's got to be 150, at least 120. Comes the end of it. How about that? There's something you don't get to see hardly ever. There's one coming up the Newcastle northbound. Normally they run them all south down that way, so that was definitely different. Well, that's going to do it for this one. So if you don't mind, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. It helps me with the algorithm, helps the channel grow, and I appreciate the support. And like I've said before, if you don't mind, take a look at a couple of the ads. Those are what pays the bills, puts the gas in my tank so I can keep doing this. And with that, I'll let you go, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for your support. Okay, I came up here to Hamilton. It's Wednesday morning. First train I get's the local coming back with the caboose. Haven't seen it in a long time. I believe this is a GP38-2, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And I guess while we're pointed this way, what do you see that's missing? That big gray paper mill caught on fire back when Jawtooth and I were down in Chattanooga about a month ago, and it burnt to the ground and they had to knock it down. So it's now gone. This is the first time I've been up here since that happened. And it was an arson job. There was no electric, no any power, nothing hooked up to that building whatsoever. So I don't know what happened, but I'd have to believe there were homeless people in there. They were probably trying to cook something to eat or something. And the whole place went up, and it was a huge fire. The smoke was so bad they could see it on the weather radar, the local TV stations here. But that building sat there for 200 years. That was one of the first industries to come into Hamilton, and it's gone. So from what I understand, they're going to tear everything down, and the city of Hamilton owns it, and that's just going to be a vacant lot right there for too much longer. So I know everybody liked that old gray buildings, but she's no longer here. All right, I don't quite understand CSX's logic here. That big pile of tie plates and stuff was right there. Apparently they're getting ready to do some track replacement here. There's a new crossover, power switch, panel track set up right there. And kind of seems to me like if I had that big pile right here, instead of putting them over here, I would have put them in a railroad car and had it hauled off instead of having to move it again. But apparently I'm seeing something I'm not getting here, because I don't know why you'd move it twice. You just move it once and be done with it. But yeah, here's a new power switch, all new everything, getting ready to be put in right over there. So I guess we'll check that out after it's installed, but they got her ready to go. All right, got us in northbound here. This is M506 CSX. Mixed manifest. Well, that horn doesn't sound very good. Yesterday was a beautiful, almost fall-like day in Walton. Today, pushing 90 and it's hot and gotten humid. So summer has come right back, which I don't mind because I know winter's coming, and man, I hate the cold weather. So I'll take this every day over cold weather. Nice seeing them move through here kind of quick. I guess they got all the work done up here. That's a long one here. Still coming around the curve down there.
defect detector. Milepost 27.7.
Well, he just hit the defect detector 2 miles away, so there's your 2-mile train right there. All right, I'm over here a little closer to the old Becket Paper Company. And you see the buildings over there are still intact, but yeah, the big gray building was right here. And as you can see, it's no more. And I guess they're going to level all of it. They may even be taking that building there down too, because I think it was part of it. So probably maybe from there all the way down to that building right there. I guess I'm hearing it's all going to be taken down, or at least that's the rumor right now. So I can't say for sure, but that's just what we're hearing. So we'll see what happens. This little area view is going to change some, it looks like. All right, got another northbound Norfolk Southern coming here. This guy was a little horn happy. Here comes a runner. Here comes a runner. Yep. He made it this time. Still waiting for a southbound to come and run over where they fixed the track. Haven't had one yet though. I'd say there's going to be some here shortly. Getting close to time of day. I'm going to have to move to the other side of the tracks here. Sun's moving. I'd like to have the money that's used in, I know a lot of this paint's stolen, but just the value of the money that's used on these cars. These are graffiti guys. Could probably retire on an auto rack train. Much paint as you see on them. It's crazy. Looks like a load of coke in them cars. new black iron pipe, it looks like. You're in a pretty good rumble coming here. Oh yeah. Got a feeling that means this is going to be a long train. Look at that tank car. Must have 4 compartments in it. And we got a monster train here. Nice string of boxcars here. Sounds like I got a southbound coming. We might get a meet here. Be the second meet of the day. Yep, got a train coming the other way. I'm going to turn it around. You can see the end of this one. All right. Check out the locomotives on the head of this one. Second meet of the day. Don't see too many of these guys here. Canadian National. Don't see those very often at all. Look like ballast cars there. They got the side chutes on them. Yeah, they're loaded with rock. all empty auto racks. I heard yesterday that CSX is combining a couple of their auto rack trains because they're working on a tunnel somewhere, and they'll probably be coming through here. So we're probably gonna get some really long auto racks for a while. But this is more like a mixed manifest. I see some box cars coming now. Oh, that wind's cold. Well, this is a long train right here. He's speeding her up now. Let's have the majority of the train around the curve. If that wind had quit blowing, it'd be halfway tolerable out here. You can really see it on that car. Things are sticking straight out. Hope somebody counted the cars in this train, because this thing is unreal. Surprised I haven't seen a DPU in here somewhere. almost make a video out of just this meet right here as long as this is going on. Wow. So we got some 86-foot box cars coming here. Those are the big boys. About 5 in a row. Well, that was cool, wasn't it? You had to like that. Got a meet, Canadian Nationals too. Not bad at all. All right, thanks for watching. That was a good one.